Tervetuloa takaisin mahdollisesti viimeiseen Phoenix Wright Ace Attorneyn pelin läpipeluusvideona. Mutta jos tää onkin viimeinen, niin ei huolta. Tässä on vielä lisää pelejä tulossa tämän jälkeen. Mutta katsotaan. Ja tosiaan mun opsille tuli hikka. Se lopetetaan aikaisemman videon, tai keskeytti tämän videon tallennuksen, ja se ei suostunut enää tallentamaan uudestaan. Piti käynnistää se uudestaan. Ja totesin, että mä en jaksa editoida näitä naasusteellisen pieniä videoita, niin vedetään alusta. En ollut kauhean pitkällä vielä. En ole päässyt vielä edes cross-examinationiin vielä. Joten koetaan uudestaan. Ja tosiaan osaan tässä kohtaa sanoa, jos tämä kuulostaa tämä alku hyvin tutulta, niin ei huolta. Tämä on ihan samanlainen alku kuin aikaisemmin. Tai on hyvin samanlainen alku. Olen jo miettimään tossa, kun mä aikaisemmin pelasin, että jotenkin unohdinko mä tallentaa tai jotain, ja vedän uudestaan aikaisemman materiaalin tai jotain. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Ehkä mä ois pitänyt sanoa aika vähän kohta sit, kun se on oleellinen. Spoilers. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. No, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Ja tässä kohtaa aloin miettimään, että tämä kuulostaa hyvin tutulta. Déjà vu. Ja sitten siitä sanoin, että jos tämä kuulostaa tutulta, niin ei huolta. Tämä on ihan eri video, ette ole vielä katsonut tätä. I think Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. She asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the two rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you are going to need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket from Miss Guy, explaining the two rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like the book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you are wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there to do? Your credibility's been all but ruined with this false evidence you were unaware of. Emma Sky found out she unwittingly caused a man's death, and now you are telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Alan didn't murder Detective Goodman. She struck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we are going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lansky. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, Normally this is where the prosecution calls for the witness, but this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Ishworth, may have struck a bargain. Huh? You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... very well, Jana. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But now there's no precedent for what you are proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call for the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls, ja tosiaan mä osaan nää. Palkittakas täytennässä. Näihin. Trialihin jatkoi. The defense calls. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Demenkant. Ja suurin piirtein tähän mä jäin. Pelilukku rupesi pikkusen lagaamaan ja sitten tuli ilmoitus hopsi. Demenkant. The defense calls Demenkant to the stand. Demenkant? What does he have to do with anything? Okay, nyt tulee uutta. So the defendant's partner 2 years ago. Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Joanna? True. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Demenkant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. All right, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you are very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. It's just when Doc was arrested. He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Doc bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Doc and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lance Sky also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Doc ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up the power that she didn't help either. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Doc made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say. He got lucky. What's this about power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden. I got shock. And I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Tossa on yksi asia kyllä se sähkökatkos tuli samaan aikaan kun se lähti karkuun. They slipped up, miten se sanoisi suomeksi. Ja sitten tuli se sähkökatkos samaan aikaan. Ne ei olisi voinut käyttää sitä hissiä. Hissi toimii sähköllä. Tapahtuiko se sähkökatkos aikaisemmin, myöhemmin sitten? When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Doc was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier. It was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you are saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you are going to stare at anything, you'd better start that with court record. Worthy. Always a small talker, hey killer. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? I did admit forging evidence, but that can't be the whole hold through. Somehow I've got to link Kant to the incident. Jotain mun pitäisi nyt näyttää tähän sitten, mutta mä tiedän, että sä oot piilotellut sitä evidenssiä vielä sun kassakaapissa. No katsotaan tämä. From the sky explains two rules of evidence law. Rules of submitting evidence. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. No, haluaisitko sanoa jotain tähän, miksi tää oli sun kassakaapissa? You really had nothing to do with the forgery. Then how do you explain this? Well, what's that? And what's that on its handprint? Chief Kant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear writer, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence present must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that track relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Judge. Thank you. I assure you, the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. No, mulla on vielä toinen täällä. Sekä oikein liity tähän, mutta... You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badge you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in a safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Grant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Grant, what's the meaning of this? Oh. Here's a defense attorney who may have even rival worthy. So you admitted it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Rido? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Just as your dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, Please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? Jar fragment and a list. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they are worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in the forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Tulipas nyt tekstiä sitten. Mr. Wright. Yes, Jonna. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe the protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I've pressed charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today's, well, you know. Alright, Archie. In return, though. I know. That plays right. Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you would stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? You know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you are going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Wright's prints are found. Yes, if they are found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, I can prove when. You can prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at the crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, right? It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they are worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right? The chief is talking about the possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Rido. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in the forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? Not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Sky. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant, at the very least, there is one very large benefit you have reaped from all this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh, the resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho ho ho. Hyvää joulua. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be my chief anyway. Gah. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Bertie. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There. It's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Okei, jotain mitä mä pystyn aina kun ne muuttaa niiden testimonia, niin se on tilaisuus presentata jotain. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough to yourself though. Oh ho ho. Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Point out accomplice. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Miss Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Well then, who is this person you believe Chief Kent may have helped forge evidence? No ihan ensimmäisenä tulee mieleen Lana. Kuka mukaan? Toiset vaihtoehdot on sen apulaiset. Angel, Bruce, tai siis Goodman ja Marshall. Mutta tämäkin oli. Mä sanon Lana. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. The defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister Lana? And as for Chief Grant, he would have also a reason to help Lana if she asks him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Thomas Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor of the Prosecutor's Office. At the Prosecutor's Office, the person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Kent. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. I get it, time. Tässä sanokaa. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana's guy, forging evidence. You're more leave to appoint her as chief prosecutor as you could control her. Right on, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless this is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The chief prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your time. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order. I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easy to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Mulla oli tää joskus kauan sitten jo mielessä. Oliko se toisessa päivänä, kun mä pelasin viimeksi? Mä pelasin eilen yhden videon. Aivan, tämä. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires the code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits. You don't mean... I'm afraid so, John. The code was 777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations, and I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief can't, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me. Then you entered the room. Were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman couldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I haven't seen him in days. You haven't seen him in days? Chief can't. I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? The trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it hasn't. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief can't met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Camp on the day of the crime. Mitähän me saatiin silloin selville? Liittyykö se tähän? Tuli jotain, että sitä ei pystynyt näkemään, sitä veritahra. Se veritahra. Sitä veritahraa ei olisi voinut tulla tähän, koska se Blue Badger edessä. Ja se liikutettiin tänne sen jälkeen, kun tämä oli käynyt. Eli joo, se on tämä. No, there's got to be something more solid than this. On that day, Detective Goodman had to go see Chief Kent. Sorry to interrupt your mumblings, but the court is waiting. Oops. Why don't you come meet with me tomorrow? Perhaps we could write up your letter of termination. Regardless, you did see Detective Goodman that day. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Shows proof that the victim went to meet Chief Kent on the day of the crime. No cha-cha. Se oli auki se ovi. Koska se Goodman oli käynyt siellä. Se me todettiin aikaisemmin, että se oli jäänyt auki sen takia. There's got to be something more solid than this. Ne halus päästä eroon sitä evidenssistä. Mun pitää mennä vessaan. Mä taidan katsoa myös sen vastauksen, mä en halua vetää tätä enää uudestaan. Okei, mä tuossa vessassa mietin vaihtoehtoja. Mä unoin kyllä, show was proof that victim went to meet Chief Kent on the day of the crime. Minkä takia se Goodman olisi mennyt käymään Kentin luona? Ehkä sekin halus piilottaa sitä todistusmateriaalia. Ihan ensimmäisenä siitä tulee mieleen se, kun se hukkasi sen ID-korttinsa, mutta se on vähän Ai kun niin, siis... Okei, joo. Joo, sä näet sen sinä päivänä. Sitäkö mä yritän tästä todistaa? Detective Goodman was his ID card on the day of the crime. Ei se, minkä takia ne oli siellä varassa yhdessä, vaan se, että... No joo. Detective Goodman was his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filled it. Filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Kent. Then you accompanied the... Phoenix puhuu. You accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you are going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered Paul Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you hadn't really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! Chief Kent, you didn't... The murder was most likely a spur of the moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright, that the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Kent, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Kent used this. Miten se on salakuljettanut ne mukaan sen mukaisen poliisilaitoksen läpi? Se on erittäin hyvä kysymys. Tuossa Phoenixin vihjasta tulee mieleen tämä. Minkä takia mä oon kärrynyt tota mukanani? Edgeworth. Sä pistit sen Edgeworthin autoon. Käskit sen viemään sen sinne prosecutor office. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? What does that have to do with this case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... I was asked to go, but Chief can't know less. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. As the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, but you did, because Chief can't ask you to. You mean I... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by the car. By that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lana Sky. Order. What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starbuck at the prosecutor's office. This was not the photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Kent, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we are to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Actually, Wright refuses to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not the right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So we are going to just run away after all this. Run away? Don't make me laugh, Lily. I stabbed old Goodman. That's what you are saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, I think I have managed to dispose of the body. If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Kent is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Eiks me olla puhuttu sitä nyt jo koko ajan? Ainoa mikä multa puuttuu on motiivi. Do you have any concrete proof? Mulla on tämä se ase, millä se murhattiin. Voimme koittaa tätä. Present evidence. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Kent murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. No, tämä on sieltä todistusaineisto-varastosta, jolla se murhattiin. Ja no, Lana sanoi, että se oli vielä sen rinnassa, ja Lana pilsi sen siihen auton pakoputkeen. So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Joanna? What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch. I submit. I guess it wasn't enough. Please, Joanna, give me just a little longer to consider. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Devon Kent is current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Joanna, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Kent murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Guy dispose of his body? Do I have any concrete proof? No entäs jos mä menen tällä? I have no proof yet. Koska ne ei pakota mua sinänsä ottamaan sitä, mä voin valita toisen vaihtoehdon. It's no use showing evidence. I'm not even sure of myself. Mua ei ehkä punishata tästä, rankaista tästä. No Joanna, at present I have no conclusive evidence. CRG. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Yes, Steve, never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Brido. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Archie, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Whoa! Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. Chief Kent has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Joanna? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Joanna. The defense calls forth. Oli ihan ensimmäisenä mielestä tämä. Lana. Ja onneksi Phoenix antoi mulle vihjeen, että se ei välttämättä halua kertoa totuutta. Ja vaihtoehtoja kovin monta. No, mennään Lanalla. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky, she was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21. Her task to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Joanna. Well, the court will now take its final recess for today. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Chief Kent, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This is good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. Hyvätkin muki käyttöpaikalla. Eli PRP, tosiaan teille se on sekunti. Tosiaan pidin tauon, kävin tupakilla, kävin kaupassa. Lämmitin itselleni leijapullia. Olin syömässä, tai aion syödä, siirsin mikkiä. Ja mun mikki koskistuttaa mun näytön piuhaa. Ja se meni pois päältä. Nyt sitten nämä mun muut näytöt ei tykkää asiasta. Ja se heitti tämän peliruudun mun oikeanpuolemaisen näyttö, se olisi tavallisesti tuossa keskellä. Nyt pitää pelata tällä mun rikkinäisellä 4K-näytöllä. Se ei tahdo teille näkyä mitenkään. Video kuitenkin tulee 1080p laatuisen ulos. Mutta ennen kuin mä käynnistän peli uudestaan, niin joudun käyttämään tätä ruutua. Mutta no, jatketaan. Aha. Ja äänikin meni taas pituralleen. Eli pitää käynnistää tietokone uudestaan. Hieno juttu. Koska se viimeksi kun se kävi näin, niin se ei, en saanut sitä takas toimimaan. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Chief. He's something else, pals. Detective Kamshu. Ellei mä pysty täällä sitten. Pystynkö mä seivaamaan tähän kohtaan? No en kyllä vittis koittaa, mutta ei tää oo mitään ottaa, että pystyis vaihtamaan näyttöä tässä. Liian vanha peli semmosen. Detective Kamshu. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sir, I'll take the place of that top-notted girl you used to work with. Could he mean Maya? Still, looks like we are all out of moves now. Mun korva kutittaa pienetkin. No niin. Still, looks like we are all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man, and she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she's changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside to force herself to do anything and everything the chief had told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we'd better get back. It's time for the fun act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. To be continued. Okei, tää ei ollut viimeinen video. Tulee Trial Letter. Mikä tän nimi on? Trial Letter 2. Okei. No, kiitos kun katsoitte ja jatketaan ensi kerralla. Mä käyn sen tietokoneen uudelleen.